No ifs, ands, or buts about it, Las Vegas has gotten expensive. And some of you guys feel like you've gotten priced out of your trips. But don't worry, I'm here to help. Today, I am sharing my 25 best money-saving tricks. I have saved thousands of dollars on my trips with transportation, rooms, food, drinks, entertainment. We're covering it all. I'm gonna give you the best Vegas vacation without breaking the bank.
Don't you know?
I have a ton of tips for hotel savings. Let's start by when you book your room. I always recommend booking direct. Now I know those Expedia, Travelocity places, they have a lot of good deals. And I guess if it's a once in a lifetime trip or you're here on a really pricey weekend, it might be worth it, but I caution you. A lot of hospitality workers have told me that those sites are really risky. They could cancel your reservation without notice. You could show up and your room was booked and the hotel isn't really gonna help you out. But more importantly, all of my tips here are designed around booking direct, and I have a lot of really good advice when it comes to getting a direct hotel room and saving money. So the main reason I recommend you book direct is simple. You can adjust your room rate if it gets cheaper. I've shared this tip twice on my channel and I was flooded with messages saying, you just saved me hundreds of dollars. I've saved thousands by doing this. Here's how it works. Go to their rate calendar, see what the rate is for your room. That's gonna be before taxes and resort fees. Remember that number. Just book your room every day, go back and check. If that rate drops, call the hotel back and ask them to adjust the rate. I do this every time I would come and stay at hotels, and every time the room rate would drop at some point. Just check every day and be diligent. You're gonna save a ton of money. So we decided you're booking direct. The first thing you're gonna do is decide which rewards program you want. You're gonna sign up for that before you book your room. The two biggest here on Strip are MGM and Caesars. Both of them have multiple properties, so if you're planning to come and stay again, you have options to choose from. Choose one. Let's say you love Bellagio, choose MGM Rewards. You're right away gonna save 20% on rooms just to start with, but it's very important that you stay loyal, and I'll explain more as we go. So how are you gonna let them know that you're being loyal and spending all your money at one property? Well, one, when you're gambling, you are gonna use your player's card. That's gonna rack up all your points. If you're dining somewhere, you can charge to your room. And even if you're not in your own hotel, you can do this. Let's say you're over at the Cosmo or New York, but you're staying here at Bellagio. You can still charge over to your room as long as you're within the same properties. Caesars does something similar, so you can make sure that they are seeing everything you're spending. I always recommend charging everything to your room for the end of the stay, and I'll explain why. So we talked about staying loyal to one rewards program. A lot of people make the mistake of every single property they visit, they get a rewards card, they gamble a little bit at each place. You don't want to do that, especially because tier matching is a great resource. So let's say you stayed over at MGM, you racked up a ton of points, now you're MGM Gold, and you've never got a card at Caesars. Guess what? You can get upgraded. I got upgraded to Diamond by doing this. That's important because you save a lot of money. Like I said, resort fees can get waived. A lot of times you'll get like $100 dinner, spa credits. Sometimes you'll even get free gambling. So make sure you only get one player's card and use that to your advantage to tier match everywhere else. We do that. It's how we've saved a lot of money. So you've taken my advice. You booked direct. You used your player's card. You charged everything to your room. Now you're gonna go to check out. What you're gonna do is ask them to check on your play and see if they can comp anything. We've had places comp our resort fees, or something like comping drinks at the pool or a brunch. It depends on how much you're playing, but it always is good to ask. You never know. If you were spending a lot on your trip, make the hotel treat you well and subtract a few things off of your stay. It's awesome. Even if it's like a couple little things here or there, drinks at the pool are not cheap. While we're on the subject of booking rooms, let's talk about the $20 trick. You guys keep asking, so I'll keep sharing. Take a credit card, your ID, put the 20 between the two, ask if they have any complimentary upgrades available. Just book the standard room and try for an upgrade. Someone just DM'd me the other day that I worked at Venetian and they got a spa suite. This trick does work. As long as they have the rooms available, they're likely to upgrade you. You can get a nicer room for the standard rate. So we all hate resort fees, they're the worst, but if they get rid of them, we have no way of bargaining our way out. And that's my next tip, is how to waive resort fees. Now, places like Treasure Island give you the option to opt out. You're gonna lose certain amenities like Wi-Fi and the pool. Check out places like Sahara. They sometimes run offers on having no resort fees on your stay. Four Queens, Binion's downtown, they do not have resort fees, nor does Casino Royale. But as I said, at the desk, if you've been gambling and spending your money, you can ask them to waive them. Or if you work your way up gambling, you do not have to pay resort fees. We are MGM Gold. It's not that hard to get there. Then you don't pay resort fees. So it's awesome. There's always ways to get out of spending that money.
Don't you know? Don't you know?
If you're coming for a long weekend in Vegas, you may want to consider splitting up your stay. My best tip is for Fridays and Saturdays to stay downtown. For example, we were here at Caesars on a Wednesday and a Thursday. It was like $250 a night. That Friday it went up to $500 a night, and that Saturday it went up to $600 a night. That's very common here in Vegas, but not downtown. Now, it won't be as cheap as if you stayed downtown during the week, but we stayed at Binion's for like $200 on a busy festival weekend. Main Street Station has really cheap rates. That's a great place to look. And Four Queens is always really reasonable. Either way, if you're here for something really crazy like a festival or a concert or something that's really upping the rates, take a look downtown. You're just there to sleep, get a cheap stay. To save money on transportation, plan to stay where you're gonna play. So let's say that you're thinking about doing the nightclub over at Resorts World, you wanna go to Encore Beach at Wynn and dine somewhere at the Venetian. You're North Strip, you're gonna wanna stay over there. It's gonna be easier to walk where you wanna go and save on cabs. Otherwise, maybe South Strip, New York, Luxor, Excalibur. Places like Caesars and Bellagio typically are more expensive because they're the dead center of the strip, so you can get anywhere you want to go. Just make sure you have a plan, and that way you're saving more on cabs and Ubers. When discussing transportation, it's important to compare all of your options. Free transport would be the Bellagio tram. It can go all the way down to Mandalay Bay, totally free. The monorail, a nice cheap option, that's on the opposite side of the strip. Comparing Uber and Lyft is a huge tip of mine. Those two will have totally different prices at the exact same time. Hold both up on two different phones and get the cheapest one. Or know when it's best to take a cab. For example, over at the airport these days, Uber and Lyft surge like crazy. If it's $40 or more, it's cheaper to take a cab. They have set rates and it's usually around 25 bucks. However, on Strip, cab may be a bad idea because it's gonna rack up every time you hit a light, and you're gonna hit a lot of lights on the Vegas Strip, so maybe consider an Uber or Lyft. There's also the Deuce bus. I don't love it, it's very slow, but it's a cheap option. Just know all the ways to get around so that you can save money every little bit. An amazing tip that I share repeatedly is, of course, to know where the CVS and the Walgreens are on the strip so you can buy cheap water, snacks, anything you might need. Waters in here are $3. I've paid $10 at Aria for a Fiji, so do not make that mistake. Come here, get all the things you need, bring them back to your room, and save a little money.
Don't you know?
One of my favorite tips for you guys is how to save on coffees. Do not go to Starbucks. Not only is the line super long, but a black coffee is going to be so overpriced. Now you can sit at a slot and wait. Again, it might take a second, but my favorite is just to go to a center bar like this one behind me or a sports book and ask for a fresh cup of coffee. We've paid a couple of dollars for them before. They're not that expensive. It's faster. Also, if you're staying downtown at Golden Gate, last time we stayed there, we got free coffee, juice, and water for being hotel guests, which was a huge perk. Some of you guys have taken this hack even further and just brought your own coffee makers. I respect that. Save that money where you can. So you're really excited, you got to your Vegas trip, there's a group of 8 of you, let's do shots. Do not just stop at a random casino bar and ask for a round of tequila. I'm speaking from experience. You're gonna way overpay. I'm talking way too much. Know where the cheap shots are located. Pizza Cake at Harrah's has $5 beers, $5 shots. Wahlburgers over by the Horseshoe has beers and shots, 2 for $7. There's cheap deals like that all over the place. Trust me, cheap shots is better. It's still the same going down. If you have not seen my free entertainment video, it is the perfect guide of stuff to do in Las Vegas that costs you absolutely no money. During the day, you can walk around Vegas, sightsee, enjoy time at the pool, and not spend anything, and then go out at night and get some nice dinners, go see a show. It's a great way to balance your budget and be entertained all day long. like these flamingos or the Bellagio Conservatory. Great stuff to see in Vegas that's not going to cost you anything. If you are my clubbers, my guess is that you're here to drink. So I have a few tips to save on that. So you can have your Uber from the airport take you out to one of the liquor stores. Just know they are still going to upcharge. They know that you're coming to party. You can pack alcohol in your suitcase as long as you are checking a bag. So if you're flying Southwest and you have an extra bag you can check, just wrap them up in towels and bring them with and put them in your room. You guys are gonna be going out clubbing. I imagine you're gonna have a few drinks in your room, get a warm up, maybe bring one with you on your way to the club. As long as it's not in glass, you can carry it out with you. It's a great way to save on a few of your drinks because drinks inside the club are like $50. That's not even an exaggeration.
Don't you know? Don't you know?
Do not go to the convenience stores inside the hotel, especially for sodas. And definitely don't take them out of your mini fridge. In fact, don't move anything. They're on a sensor, you're gonna get charged. My mom bought a Diet Coke out of her mini fridge and it was like $9. Instead, on your floor, there's going to be an ice machine and next to that will be a vending machine. Sodas are gonna be maybe $3-ish. They're gonna be double that price here and even more in your mini fridge. So if you're thirsty in your hotel, walk your floor and find that vending machine, save a few bucks. Drinks are still free while gambling. While that may seem obvious to some of you guys, I do get questions about that all the time and people asking, can I get whatever I want? The answer is yes, you can order any cocktail you like, any drink. Sometimes they don't have free Red Bull or the drink would be a little smaller than if you were to pay for it, but they're free as long as you are gambling. Just make sure to tip your server. So even better than playing on the casino floor for free drinks is to play at the tabletop gaming. You can play Keno here, you can play slots, but the money doesn't last as long. I recommend learning video poker. You can do a $1.25 bet. The back of the machine lights up as you play. And if you play jacks or better, a lot of the time you're gonna get your bet back. So for example, my sister and I sat here, $100 each, had 3 espresso martinis each, and left down $30 total, which is a really good deal for like $18 drinks. Just know what you're doing. Make sure that you're playing actively every time you want a new drink so that it lights up so the bartender knows you're on your way. While we're talking about gambling, make sure that you set a gambling budget, you guys. It's important to know how much you're willing to lose. It's also important to know how much you want to win. For example, let's say you're up $400. How much of that are you willing to risk and how much are you gonna take as winnings? It's just really good to know that you're not gonna overspend. Don't go to the ATMs and take extra money out. Set a budget for each individual day and take home some of your winnings. Stopped at Earl of Sandwich for lunch and figured, why don't we talk about cheap eats? Earl of Sandwich is a pretty decent option. Sandwiches are like $10. This big wrap was $10.50. It's really good. I have a whole video of the 40 best cheap eats. If you guys want to check that out, breakfast, lunch, dinners. I really recommend during the day that you eat cheap, save your money, so that way you can go and splurge on a really nice restaurant. For the evening, for a nice dinner, go to a steakhouse. I also really suggest you consider sharing meals. Don't over order. There are a lot of places where the portions are massive. In fact, if you sit down at a random restaurant, it's like $25 for a plate. Ask how big it is. Pepper Mill's portions are massive. Nacho Daddy, the portion easily could feed like 3 people. You think you're gonna be hungrier than you are. It's very hot here. You're drinking a lot of alcohol. Another fantastic tip is to eat at weird hours, especially between the hours of like 3 and 6. That's gonna be happy hour. A lot of the off restaurants will have some sort of drink or food deal if you go a little bit earlier than dinner, and you can save a ton of money that way. The cheapest day to fly into Vegas is Tuesday by far. If you're looking at flights, check Tuesdays. It's also a really cheap day to book a hotel room. So if you're just coming here to sightsee, enjoy the pool, go out to dinners, doing a weekday trip will save you tons of money. Like I said, those room rates, those jack way up on Fridays. It's also the cheapest day to fly out of Vegas on Saturday. We used to come in on Tuesdays and fly out on the weekends all the time. It's a great hack, especially if you don't have anything specific in mind like a concert. It is always so sad when your Vegas trip ends and you end up in a little bit of a travel hangover, but make sure you're checking your emails for Bounceback Offers. After our first stay in Vegas, we got offered a bunch of free nights if we came within the next 6 months. and we snagged it up. Bounceback offers are an amazing way to save money and come to Vegas twice a year.
Don't you know?
My last tip, let's talk about My Vegas. My Vegas is a completely free slot game app where you basically play slots and earn coupons. And those coupons are good for all kinds of things. You can get cheaper drinks, you can get buy one, get one buffets at MGM, you can get free stays, you can even get money for gambling. It's totally free to do. You can just do it at home before your trip, rack up some points, and use it to get some good deals. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you comment below your favorite money-saving tips for Vegas and share them all with the rest of the world. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys all in my next